Hi there, Dark Ask is here. Right, yeah. Not the happiest of bunnies right now. No pun intended. So, literally finished watching the PAX 2025 presentation for the First Descendant, and unfortunately, my worst fears have been realized, and then some. Now, before we continue, you need to understand, this comes from a place of love. I love the game, been playing the game since the tech alpha. Stream the game, play the game pretty much daily. I haven't left the game and now I'm coming back to make this video. No, we've been playing this game constantly at a good click with some stops here and there to play other games, but all I'm gonna say comes from a place of love because I care about the game and I want the game to succeed, and I don't want TFD to join an ever-growing list of looter shooters that eventually just fizzle out. So, unfortunately, everything that was presented except one or two things that they were leaked by a website that the developers gave an interview to. They reverted the leak and changed the page and the article on that website. Never heard of this website before. Not quite sure why Magnum Studio and Nexon would give these dudes the time of day. They screwed the pooch and they leaked everything ahead of time. Ornery Biscuit was classy enough to take her video speaking about these things down. Very classy indeed, Ornery Biscuit. That would be easy clicks. But she went ahead and she decided to take the video down as to not to spoil the reveal for everybody. But unfortunately, it was all over Reddit, so everybody knew what was going to be revealed. What was revealed very quickly? Mega patch is coming. There's melee weapons, swords, double-handed swords, lightsaber, ultimate Luna, ultimate Eugen, big open area, open field, colossi, battles, racing events, and some other things. A collab with Nier Automata. Obviously, interestingly enough, during the whole of the presentation, the only reaction the audience had was with a collab with Nier Automata. I mean, it's a brilliant game, incredibly well-designed characters, if you know what I'm saying. But really, that's all we gonna get excited for? More hot women in the game? I'm all up for hot women. I mean, we're looter shooter gamers, right? Like, that's not why we play the game, is it? I mean, it isn't why I played the game. Anyway, so why am I disappointed? Well, I'm disappointed because, number one, PAX East is not the biggest event of in the world, but it's quite relevant, right? A lot of people and studios and publishers go to PAX East, and it's a good way of keeping the news cycle and the enthusiasm for a game going, right? Now, I have nothing against the directors and the developers, the people that were there on stage and that are always there during the dev streams and all that. But I'll say this, the dev stream, it's a very intimate event. It's the player base that already knows them and are already familiar with them, and you know they're present during the Discord Q&As. We are used to, you know, Korean English translation meta, right? But if you're going to PAX, you gotta have a global English-speaking team ready to go and present this stuff. The flow of the presentation was terrible because, I mean, unfortunately, you have to keep stopping and translate. So there's no flow. And again, this is a global showcase, mostly for people that do not know your game. So that killed the flow. That made the event very clunky. Second, no gameplay. You cannot expect people to listen to you go on and on and on and on and on and show artwork, and there's no context. If someone never played the First Descendant, they would literally have no idea of what these people are on about. None. And even for people that maybe played it for a couple of weeks or months and left, they would still be without context. So they had to have something more enticing than artwork. Like there was literally a 3 second bunny teaser trailer that has Bunny come in and get on top of a hover bike. That was it. That was the only piece of moving images in the whole presentation. Everything else was sketch artwork. I kid you not. So that only added to the boredom, okay? Then, skins. Don't care. Doesn't change the game in the long run. More ultimates. Don't care. Doesn't change the game in the long run. Housing. Don't care. Doesn't change the game in the long run. And it sure as hell is not going to retain players because of housing, okay? And then the only interesting thing that really came out of this was right at the end of the QA, they speak about one-on-one trading. And I'm not joking here. This is literally the last sentence of the whole of the whole presentation. At the end of the QA, they say, "Oh, and for new and returning players, we're going to introduce one-on-one trading. Bye." And it was like, what? That seems a little bit important for you to just drop that at the end and leave. And on top of that, they spoke about new modules that trigger basically automation of skills. So if you perform a skill and you have this trigger module on your build, it basically triggers a secondary skill or an enhancement of the original skill. Super cool, right? It was a sentence. A sentence. I'm blown away by how bad this presentation is. And I know that I'm coming in hot, right? And I know that everybody that makes First Descendant content non-stop, they're gonna say how incredible it was, how hyped they are, because, you know, it's all about viewership and keeping people happy and getting the clicks, blah, 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 blah. I'm not really here to do that. I'm here to tell you exactly what I feel and exactly what I think this is gonna translate into the health of the game in the future. They're literally telling us about crazy taxi modes for the hover bike. I play looter shooters, ARPGs, RPGs, and MMOs. Do you think I care? And other like-minded gamers like me, do you think we care about going from A to B in a certain amount of time? Right? I mean, am I the only one that wants TFD to be an actual looter shooter? I just don't understand what they were thinking. There's this rule in every media that relates to entertainment. Show, don't tell. This whole thing was tell. It was like basically one of those horrible movies where everything is exposition. I mean, I'm really disappointed. I was really excited. I loved the game. Again, this comes from the fact that I'm worried about the game, right? Anyway, let me know what you guys think of this. I know it's not the most positive video ever, but I gotta be honest with you guys. This is how I feel. I was like, I'm not unexcited about the 8-player raids, but at the same time, I've seen what 8-player raids do to games like The Division 2. And those raids were really well designed. But the problem is, most of the player base does not have 7 other people to play with. And basically what ends up happening is, oh, if I can't do raids, in that case, that means the game is not for me. So the sweat hardcores will stay in the game, do a few raids for a couple of months, get bored and leave. And by that time, all the casuals have left as well because they know there's no end game for them because they can't participate in 8-player raids. I don't think the 8-player raid thing was the call, unless what they're calling 8-player raid is nothing else than an open world or semi-open world boss event. In which case, sure, whatever. But in that case, it's just gonna be 8 players shooting at this colossus non-stop. And then another thing that I'm kind of disappointed is, this was their opportunity to do the mega patch and distance themselves from the shadow of Warframe. And what do? They give us bikes when Warframe got bikes. They give us the big Colossus dude roaming in the open world that shows up at certain times. I mean, that's sounding a lot like Eidolons, right? And they give us housing, which sounds a lot like Dormazones. Even the picture they had to show the housing thing looked like a Dormazone in Warframe. So it's like they're doubling down and on like, oh, we're gonna copy Warframe and everything Warframe does. That, I don't think that is the call. You can take great ideas for your skeleton to begin with from Warframe, because Warframe is a very successful game in the genre. But you, at some point, you gotta go your own way and do your own thing. And I don't think this is the way to go about it. It just gives more credence to everybody that says, oh, that's just a Warframe ripoff, right? And so, I mean, it's becoming pretty difficult to defend against that, to be completely honest now. So, I don't know. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just not for me. I don't know. I don't know if I like this direction. Yeah, like, subscribe. We stream on Twitch, but we also stream in 4K, beautiful, crisp 4K over here on YouTube. And yeah, leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you next time. Bye.